Well, we seem to always be looking for change every election cycle. And if somebody comes in and they're looking for change and they found him to be, he's very smart, he's very articulate, he's great on camera, he's a very smart guy. Which brings me to the notion of um, do you see any viable Democratic candidates out there now? People where you go like, yeah, I mean that person might be able to really help things.
You can't see at this point. I mean, it's
Okay.
actually a trough for the Democratic Party. Uh,
Hmm.
and
I mean, remember they spotted Obama very early. There was no particular, I mean, he hadn't done that much yet, but people just went, no, he has whatever it takes
yes,
somehow.
yes, but that was a different time now. And,
Okay. Uh-huh.
the so we're Karl Rove, who was one of the presidential aides, who was he always said, uh, I remember talking to him about the Iraq War, and he said it all depends on the outcome. Outcomes: do we win? Do we lose? Do we perceive that? Is it perceived that we win or lose? And there's a lot of truth to that in politics
Hmm.
and other things.
Do you feel any physical jeopardy, any kind of jeopardy right now? I mean, given the books you've done on Trump and whatever and the loss. I don't want to get into the lawsuits, obviously, but any physical jeopardy, any sense that nervousness on your part?
Just to be careful, and
Yeah, yeah.
I mean that's all you can do, I think.
Hmm. 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 Yeah, and it's it's a weird world. Um, just a little bit of shift in terms of news organizations in the current climate. Young people getting their news on TikTok and online or whatever you want to call that word. I don't know if it's news anymore. And how do you, what's your perception of news organizations, the CNNs and MSNBCs and New York Times, and not to lump them all together, obviously, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, et cetera.
There's a lot of good work, no question about that. But I think the bell needs to be rung a little a little louder. I think what's going on with
Mm-hmm.
Trump, and this is not partisan, this is just the
Yeah.
impact on the economy and people,
Mm-hmm.
the uncertainty, and the way, again, I take this theme of Trump doesn't think, oh, you do A and the consequence will be C or D or E. He just does it, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, and it has. I think it is a significantly perilous time for the country.
Now, are you still reading papers?
Yes,
Hmm.
certainly.
What papers do you read?
The Washington Post, where I still work and have a
Right. Hmm.
title, and the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, a lot
Hmm.
of internet. I mean, what I think one of the things on the internet, you see there somebody's advertising a story or something you want to read, and then you click on and they say all you have to do is subscribe for
Hmm.
a year and it's only $1. And
Hmm.
uh, or we want you to do the following. And uh, I think in the marketing world, people are making a mistake. I think they need to say, okay, we've got this product, let's rise or fall on it and put it out there, make it
Hmm.
available to people, and then they can test it. But I mean, does that ever happen to you on the internet?
Which?
Where you want to read something and they say you have to
Oh,
subscribe.
all the time. Yes, of course.
So if I may ask you one thing, uh,
Yeah.
that in reading your memoir, you said that at night it's very important to children or your partner to hug and say, I love you. And
Yeah.
now, how did you learn that? I totally agree.
That's a big part of this book about how to be a better dad. And it's hugging. I'll do half a page on hugging. It's very rapid fire. It just moves and moves and moves. It has the same voice as the memoir. But with hugging, my only memory of my hugging my father was on his deathbed.
Yeah.
And there it is with
That's
Jack,
sad.
our
That's
son.
so sad, isn't it?
Yeah. But the lesson, a couple things in terms of lesson. One was that I hug Jack every time I see him. And when he was a kid, every night he got a hug. Every night, every single night. And if we dropped him off at school, he got a hug. And he was comfortable with it. It was fine. It was okay. The other little thing that helped me, in addition to the experience with my father and not wanting to be that kind of dad, and he wasn't a bad person, my father, but that's just the way he was. He grew up, as you know from the book, in the Newburgh poorhouse. But a good friend of mine, we ate dinner at his teacher, and we ate dinner at his house one night. And his two boys were both football players. And after dinner, they started out the door. It was Saturday night or whatever the hell. And he says, "Where the hell are you two going?" And they go, "We're going out." He said, "Matt, come here." And he called them over and he gave them a hug before they went out. And I said, "That was really cool. I like that. That's a great lesson for me." And between that and my own father, so hugs became a big part of my life. And then I love you. I saw a lot of men have trouble saying I love you. And so I try to encourage them in the book to say to the book, I love you.
And
I love you, Bob.
also, in your book, there's a lot of confidence, but also there's a lot of humility. And I was struck by that. And I think humility is an important quality. And if it doesn't come naturally, you need to beat it into yourself.
Well, it got beaten into me through Catholic schools, and yeah, no, and to me, it's all logical and sane. Honestly, I mean, you just look at this stuff and you go like, I write a lot of books, so what? It's not a big thing, and I think that's another thing we try to do with Jack. And interestingly, he grew up in Palm Beach, a lot of rich people here. He went to good schools. He met the sons and daughters of a lot of famous people, but for the most part, all of them are pretty modest about it.
Uh-huh.
They just, yeah, my dad did or my mom did or whatever, but that's not, I didn't do anything, which I think is very healthy. And I think that's a good way to do, to be.
Yes, agreed. Agreed.
So I hear there's a sequel to The President's Men coming, All the President's Trolls. Uh, so who should play you? Now remember, Redford is like 88 now. So I don't know if you want an old guy like that playing you.
Yeah,
So,
my wife Elsa and I saw him recently, and
oh
he
yeah, uh-huh.
he was in great shape. And trouble
Yeah,
walking,
he's irritating. Oh,
but
he did? Okay, all right.
in terms of uh, thinking and remembering, and it was a, a great reunion, quite frankly.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I spent half an hour with him one night at the Bel Air outside, and it was interesting to me. He's pretty small, right?
No, well,
No,
yeah,
is he's normal? Okay. But it was weird because he was sitting on his legs at dinner. And I was
uh-huh.
saying, that's kind of interesting. I had the sense that he was maybe smaller than he is. But that was our one little half hour. It was very charming and nice and, whatever. Another thing that's said about you, this notion of, that you keep the government honest, or you're one of the people that keeps the government honest. So what's next? If you, and I mean, if you're not comfortable talking about the next book or whatever, it's fine.
Well, it's not that I'm not comfortable, it's that I'm not sure, but
Okay.
obviously I'm gathering string on lots of things, talking to,
Yeah.
trying to make an assessment. Uh, and is it possible to find out and get new material? And I think it is, but I think at this time it's particularly hard. Uh,
Uh-huh. 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 Uh-huh.
People in the inner circle of various political figures and so forth. It's very closed. It always has been closed,
Hmm.
and have to find a way to win the trust of people. You know, tell
Hmm.
me what's
Hmm.
really going on, and
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, it's certainly neat. I mean, once again, getting back to this notion of helping people to understand a little more than they do, because obviously an awful lot of people on the left and the right don't really understand, but they think they do. That's the, you talk about arrogance, oh my God, or whatever the heck it is. You know, the people just aren't digging very deep. And as people move away from reading in books, they dig even more shallow graves for all of us. Uh, yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah.
what I'm doing now is writing a memoir, reporting,
Okay, okay.
not really so personal, obviously a little personal, but stories about how I reported various
Mm-hmm.
matters. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that sounds incredibly fascinating to me because you've met so many people, you've heard so many stories. You know, the thing about my memoir, it's kind of miraculous in a way because I haven't done shit. You know, you've really met a lot of people. You've experienced things. I sit in my room and write books and meet a little bit and whatever. But what you've done and the people you've spoken to and the stories you've heard and the things you've experienced, it's incredibly rich. So I really look forward to that. It'd be great.
well, thank you. And you got to really dig into it though, and I'm
Hmm.
trying.
Hmm.
It's you know what the one of the interesting questions is how far do you take and go down the road of self-examination?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And
Yeah.
you have somebody read. I mean, in reading your memoir, I said, "Oh, this guy kind of gets who he is and has reached a point of comfort about who he is." And that obviously is the goal, isn't it?
I'm not very goal oriented, but I do, I do, yeah, but that's exactly what I was trying insofar as I could to accomplish. I don't think about goals. I don't know why. I guess I do in the sense that every project that I take on, I want it to be the best thing I can do. I've used this a couple times lately. I don't know where it comes from, but it's been driving me, and I think it's more valuable actually for people in their 20s than it is for me. But the language is, my time here is short. What can I do most beautifully? And it probably relates to what your next book is going to be too. And it's why, I mean, I just about a year ago, I started writing a novel with Viola Davis, and I'm really glad that I'm doing it. It's a good story. I love working with her because she's wired in a good way. She's really intense in a good way, and that pushes us to do a better book. So I'm glad that I thought that we could do a beautiful thing.
Well, and you believe in collaboration, which
Yeah.
is, I mean, you don't do anything alone.
Well,
If
I do, but I'm not a lot, but I do. But if you start thinking of the Sistine Chapel, I mean, here are these X number of really good painters up there, and they're doing, it was a collaboration. Yeah, I've said many times before, I mean, if the world is going to get saved, I hope it will, it's going to be because we learn to collaborate.
yes, and so do you know Trump at all?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know him. I know some of the family. I'll tell you, I mean, this is where I'm at in terms of trying to get understanding. And obviously, I know President Clinton very well. We're going to do our third book in June, I think it comes out, and he and Hillary. And there's little things, the first time Sue and I went out with President Clinton and Hillary, we were out for 3 or 4 hours having dinner, and during the meal, 3 or 4 times during the meal, they were holding hands under the table. And people don't think of them that way. Obviously, it's a complicated, they're both very smart, things have happened. But you suddenly begin to understand a little better. In terms of the Trump family, we know Eric and Lara a little bit. And their little boy had lost his sock puppet. And Sue and I were driving home, and she said, I know where to get the sock puppets. And that particular one, they couldn't find it. So she ordered it. And 2 days later, we just knocked on the door, and Laura came down, and we gave her the sock puppet. And we're not, it's not a political thing. We're not Republicans, but it was just, it's a people thing. Here's a sock puppet for the little boy. I hope it helps, and I'm sure it did. And it's just, going way back, it used to be, at the end of a congressional session or whatever, guys would go out and have a steak together, Democrats and Republicans, and okay, this is better. That's a better way to do things, a more human way, and we've gotten away from that, unfortunately. I don't know that we'll ever get back. We probably won't.
Yeah, one of the things you said in your memoir, a moment can change a life.
Hmm.
And was there a moment that changed your life if you took it all and you said, well, I want to locate, this was the pivot point, or this was the change?
I mean, there are points, there are things, I mean, you mentioned, going in that Sunday or Saturday for the Watergate thing. That clearly, I mean, you probably would have, you're such a good writer, you probably would have figured other stories, but that clearly changed you. That catapulted you onto another level at a very young age. Um, I mean, for me, it's the luck of having a couple of people along the way who believed in me because, I didn't have a lot of confidence. I was relatively shy, and to have people. So my grandmother was a big one. I had a professor at Vanderbilt who he just said, "You got it. You can really write." So that was big. Yeah, so it's things like that that stick out to me. I don't know that there was one particular um, a moment for me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I
It
mean,
might be.
I love your books. I love that I read you've had uh, 67 number one bestsellers.
I have no idea. I'm not
Well, that's what somebody's
it's
counted.
possible. I
I
don't
mean,
yet. I don't know. Yeah.
that is absolutely astonishing. If
Well,
you,
my thing is always, I'm just hoping the next book will be as good or better than, and the thing that I'm liking, I was happy with the memoir. It was during COVID that I wrote it, and I didn't want it to suck. And but that did have I became a better writer after that, which is interesting at my age. Paid more attention to the sentences.
let me ask you this, if I may, and this is intrusive,
Who the
intentional.
hell's the interview is this anyway? So I see how this happens, how this spill their gut thing. You've spilled nothing. A little bit about your wife. I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Now, what do you do with your money?
Um, the one thing we do, which I think is I'm really happy about, and I really give credit to my mother and my grandmother, we give away a lot. We've given away about 170 million so far, and about half of everything that we is going to go. The latest thing, which I really like, because it's the kind of thing I like to. There'll never be buildings. I don't buildings with our names on it. It does not appeal to me at all. But we have now, I think it's 27 historically Black universities and colleges, and we have scholarships at them. I'm going to add another 10 soon. And the thing about those schools is they have no money.
Yeah.
And so when you do scholarships, they have very little money for scholarships. So a lot of kids, they're going to leave there with the debt, or they can't even go when they got accepted because they don't have the money to pay the tuition or whatever the hell it is. So I really like that one. It's very clean. There's no middle,
Good.
there's no bureaucracy. The money just goes to scholarships, boom. And I don't like it when, and the school go, oh, we want to put the money into our big fund and we're going to take out 5% a year. And I'm going, no, I'm not going into your slush fund. Why? Because I don't think you're very wise about how you spend your money anyway. That's what I see. I just watch it and go, this is so sloppy. No, we're not doing that. But scholarships, where the kid, there it is, and there's the kid. And in those schools, it's a big deal. They get a scholarship, man, and the family wants to call you, and it's a good. So I like that a lot. I think it's a good thing to do. We'll try to do more of it now. We're trying to do more. We're adding. We're doing a thing. I went to Manhattan College, Catholic College undergrad. We're trying to work with them now to propel them forward. So we'll see how that works out.
Okay, well, but that's very important now. You ask about where you said you've given away about 170 million. I read a lot about you and never saw that. Now, maybe
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah, well, it's not something you really, the only reason I start bringing up stuff like that is just to encourage other people and with the historically black, what I'll do is I want to talk to the president or chancellor for 10 minutes. And I say, here's the thing, just pay attention to the kids. If you lose a kid, you lose the scholarship. So be careful who you put in there. And then at the end of the year, have them send me 2, 3, 4 pages on something that hit them during the year that they can take out into the world. And that's kind of it. That's
and how
that's the
many of
whole
those
deal.
do you get a year
And no
then?
middle, all of them.
I mean, all
Oh, I
be,
don't know, 400 or 500, a lot.
and you read them all? Look,
Sure.
really?
Yeah, yeah. Fortunately, they don't all come the same day, but yeah, they come in droves. Yeah. But yeah, I try to keep it simple. People always go, "Oh, don't you have?" I know I don't have a lot of people working for me. I don't. It doesn't have to operate that way. I don't like middlemen.
Yeah,
Middlemen are in the way of everything. Medicine. You know.
that's really important because they take all the middlemen or middle persons always take a share.
Yeah,
And
big share.
and you've got to somehow my wife Elsa and I have a small foundation and we give away money and uh, I like your theory of it. I learned something. Make it
Yeah,
very
we just
specific.
go and well, the other thing that we try to do is it's pretty much everything is bookstores, libraries, and education. A lot of it, and then so that when people come for other things, we kind of don't go there. It makes it a little easier to simplify things. Mostly we don't. It's almost all, and I love scholarships.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's great.
and
Great
not full scholarships
yes.
because I like the kids to have some skin in the game. Somebody just came to us, one of the schools. Some of these schools are so nuts. And they come to us with this thing, 4.5 million for 8 kids to go whatever later and eventually into medical school. It's $500,000 a kid. I'm like, what are you kidding? Well, I could do $500,000 a kid. That's crazy. I'd much rather do 400 kids and it's what? Who are these people? I just thought it's astonishing to me.
And what they're doing is looking out for the institution rather than the people. And
Yeah,
and your
build
approach, I
buildings.
mean,
I don't. I guess it's not the worst thing in the
I
world, but I'm not going to build any buildings.
you've taught me something really important, and that is, I mean, we've with our foundation give it locally where you can actually see
Uh-huh.
what's happening. But your idea of a scholarship, and you can go to any school, high school,
Yeah,
college.
we have Howard. We have I think 20 at Howard in Washington, and I'll tell you what. I visited
How
there.
much is each one,
I don't want to get into exactly
or just
because
about?
it varies from school to school. It's a fair amount, but once again, But the thing of it is, no matter what it is, and it's a reasonable amount of money, but it's like it's money that wasn't there yesterday. and the families are like, this is the, but I did go up there and I met about half the kids, and it was great. It was great. They're so appreciative, and it's a very bright, bright kids, very motivated. Tragically, most of them wanted to be writers, which which is a tough gig. I don't
Yeah.
know about, boy, we also are the biggest contributors out at the Iowa Writers Workshop. And that's another tough one. We were out there this summer and they're all good writers. And you just want to say, you're going to have to figure out a way to make money. Otherwise, you're going to be this great writer. And every 2 years you publish a story in the New Yorker, and then you're working as a barista. You don't want to tell these kids to think about that. But I mean, it's like, yeah, you're going to have to kind of figure stuff out here because you're such a good writer. And I'm not sure what to tell you, but you might want to think about how you can make some money with your writing in addition to the stuff that's bearing your soul.
One of the other things you and I share is Bob Barnett is
Oh,
our
him.
we have
Yes.
Williams and Connolly, and
Yeah,
I've known Bob for decades, and I mean, he is, and it's an amazing law firm, and he's an amazing man who
I
knows
agree.
how to look out for clients.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, he's a total straight shooter. Very smart and good friend, very good friend. We enjoy he and Rita a ton.
Yeah, same here, same here. Yeah, Elsa and I the same,
Yeah.
and
I heard you guys went out to dinner the other night.
gee,
Yeah, 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 yeah. So
nothing's
anyway, all right. Well, this is
and
great fun for me, and thank you so much.
well, thank
This is
you,
a
thank you.
okay.
The lesson of how to give scholarships is really an important one, and I thank you.
Well, I think once again, part of it is, I mean, what fits you or what fits you and your wife. This fits us. And the thing I love about it is there's nothing in the middle. Nobody's taking their piece, and it just there it is. And I'd love. We have a thing. One of the areas we're doing a thing with the University of Florida now, and we've been working on this for a while. Percentage of kids reading at grade level in the country is like 43%. It's gone down with COVID, which is a disgrace. University of Florida has a program, not my program. They have a program. They can get it up into the low 80s. That will save thousands and thousands of lives. We have helped them to get it into, I don't know, 13 or 14 counties in Florida. Florida is now partly, this is helping them. They're number one in Black kids reading at grade level, and number one, I think, are number one or number two in
Is that right?
Latino kids. Yeah. This thing works. We're doing a little documentary movie, and last week I went out to one of the schools. It's stunning. I sat in on the kindergarten and the second grade class. These kids are so tuned into this. It's unbelievable. They love it. They're sitting there doing it just warms your heart. I think the
Well, good.
documentary would be really cool, and yeah. So I'm just hoping we can get this thing going. The thing is, we have the vaccine. We just have to get states to use it now.
Where does your personal discipline come from when you sit down to write? Does it, oh, gee,
No, there's never, oh, it's oh goody.
oh, good.
Yeah, no, I wake up in the morning with stuff and it buzzing in my brain, and I can't wait to get into the office. Although my bride and I, we a lot of mornings we'll go out and play for like 9 holes first thing. We do it. We're not running around. We do it in like an hour. And yeah, we enjoy each other. Which is nice. Secret of I don't know what the hell. I mean, part of the secret, I guess, is marry a best friend. Doesn't
Yeah,
have to be your best friend, but a best friend.
yeah, and so
Uh, uh, so Sue, I mean, I think Sue is my best friend.
yeah,
So
Elsa is mine, and it's it, it's a daily learning experience if you pay attention. Can't
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
put it on automatic pilot, but
Yeah.
got
No, no, no. Automatic pilot is not. That's a boring anyway. So we keep it interesting, and she's done she's just finished her second novel. So first one did well. It was a good book too. Things I Wish I Told My Mother. Good title and a good mother and daughter kind of story. So and she's impressive, and she keeps growing, which is nice.
I've gravitated toward one-word titles.
Okay, yeah, I saw that. I saw
Super
that. Yeah,
Hero.
that's good. It looks good. I can, look right in the back. There it is. War. Boom. Gotcha.
Yeah, right.
I'm for that. I'm for that.
Okay.
I haven't done it very often. A countdown. I'd have to think about it, but yeah.
Okay. Well, you've been very kind,
Oh,
and
no, no, no. This is a treat for me.
learning.
Okay.
Uh, we're
All right.
gonna.
Well, good luck with your memoir and whatever charities you want to
You
that make sense for you and Elsa.
get, and the good luck with the things buzzing in your head in the morning.
Okay. Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.